Everybody, welcome in to SportsbookReview.com's NFL Draft Review. We went over round one last Friday. Today, we're going to wrap up rounds 2 through 7 to give you some winners and losers to try to peek your head and see exactly who profited and who did not profit here, looking at the NFL Draft overall. I'll be your host today, Donnie Wrightside, for this quick segment, along with my partner in crime, the big man on campus, Jeff Nadu. Jeff, why don't we go right down the list here for us? Winners and losers is what it's all about. Topic number one for us. Who had the best draft overall?
There were a lot of teams that had good drafts. One of which, and a couple of which I'll mention, the Cincinnati Bengals. I thought had a very good draft. I think the big thing with Cincinnati was to obviously, like any draft, go out and get some talent and fill needs. But I think it was also to change kind of the outprint of this football team. This is a football team that, for large portions of the last several years, there's been a lot of negativity around it, from the coaching staff to the quarterback to the defense to the dirty play that goes on with this group. I think it's about kind of getting out some of the dead wood and replacing it with good, young, up and coming, high quality football players. And I really like what this group did. I thought they got some real steals in this draft, i.e., Sam Hubbard. I thought he was a first round pick. You get him in the third round. You address the run game defensively with Andrew Brown out of Virginia, a guy that was a good-natured kid, very high-level thinker out of Virginia. You bring in Malik Jefferson to fill a strong side linebacker position that Vontaze Burfict can teach him a little bit. Let's hope that he keeps it to all the positive things and not some of the dirty things. And then you look at the secondary. You really add what's to a pretty good secondary already. You add Jesse Bates, who I know you like, out of Wake Forest, a high-quality kid there. They bring in Darius Phillips out of Western Michigan. And then you really, in the first round, addressed the need with Billy Price at center. You needed a big-time center that can kind of anchor that offensive line. Center's obviously an important position. You added in already Cordy Glenn on the left side. You still have Jake Fisher there. This is a pretty good offensive line all of a sudden for Andy Dalton, which they desperately need. This is a team that has struggled in pass protection and giving up sacks. And you know what, Donnie? I don't think a little competition will hurt Andy Dalton a little bit. You bring in the kid out of Toledo, Logan Woodside, who you and I both know was a big-time passer in college. We'll see if he can give Andy Dalton a little run for their money. But I like the fact that they went out and not only addressed positions, but they addressed the culture on this team. I like that.
Yeah, no, you bring up some good points there, because when we always talk about like winners and losers in the draft, obviously it's a couple days after the draft. The guys haven't even been in shoulder pads yet, haven't even played the rookie seasons. So hard to quantify who actually won or lost. Just a couple spots that I do like, Jeff. Carolina thought they had a good draft, impacting their needs right away, getting DJ Moore, the wide receiver, round one, then filling in some quarterback needs with Jackson and Golden a little bit later. And also, Jeff, I know we talked about earlier on the show today, going over the Denver Broncos. You want to talk about impact players that look like they can come in and start from day one, or maybe at least give some play day one. You're looking at Chubb, Sutton in the first two rounds, and then you're packing it on with Freeman, the running back, who should be able to come in and give you that punch on kickoff, special teams, and also on third downs. Then you have Josie Jewell, Fumagalli, and Hamilton late. You're looking at impact players that came in throughout the draft, Jeff. Obviously, we know there's some teams that were some winners and some losers. Why don't we look right now? Who, in your mind, I mean, it's hard to say again, Jeff, who lost in the draft, but who had a bad draft in your opinion, big man?
Definitely Oakland. I mean, I'll continue to anchor that until I'm blue in the face. Oakland had a awful draft. We discussed the reach at 15 with Colton Miller, a guy that, look, I think offensive line was important, but it wasn't a first kind of pick kind of thing. You look at a team that's also, I think, going to have some personnel character problems. You look at some of the players they brought in the offseason, Martavius Bryant, Doug Martin. You add into the fact of what you did in the draft, way too many risks here. You look at Maurice Hurst. This is a guy that, look, if he can, kind of stay healthy, he'll be a good player. But this is a guy that dropped deep into the draft due to some heart issues. Arden Key was a character problem. Azim Victor at Washington was a character problem. And Donnie, what I like least about this draft is you didn't address the big problem on this team, and that's the secondary. This is a bad secondary. This is a secondary, Donnie, that was 26th in the league last year against the pass. They were one of the worst defenses as far as quarterback rating. Quarterbacks on the opposing team averaged 102 quarterback rating per game. They also were worst in the league in interceptions. They only had 5 interceptions, Donnie, all season. And what do you do in the draft? Absolutely nothing to fix this secondary. A hideous draft by this group. I think they're a team that's not really in the position to take risks. You got to get good players, that are going to change the sentiment of this team. I don't think they did any of that.
Yeah, two tough drafts for me. Actually, moving on to the NFC West the same way you are. Oakland Raiders. We talked about the key things with actually, key things. Don't mean to bring that into a segue there, but Key and Hurst. It just seems like this is what the Raiders do. Like they're going to take a risk management, but it always seems like the risk is never worth the reward. You have to get good football players in there. John Gruden again coming back to the NFL, but the same old Raiders mo right now, taking questionable draft picks to see if they work out. Also, Jeff, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Patrick Mahomes deal the year before left them a little bit barren on picks. I think they overdrafted Speaks in round 2. Didn't help their football team too much, Jeff. Let's move on. Topic 3. Give us 2 players that were overdrafted in the situation. Give me somebody, Jeff, or at least 2 players out there that you say, you know what? That guy was on the board. I don't think you should have went there. You could have got him much later. How about 2 players?
I think Antonio Callaway was a horrible pick by the Browns. We talked about that earlier on the show. Obviously, he has some talent, but this is a guy that didn't play last year at Florida. He's had run-ins with the law 4 or 5 different times. He's clearly got a drug problem, and this is a team in the Browns that seem to think that they can fix these kind of guys. We saw the charade with Josh Gordon. These two on the same team is like oil and water. It's not going to work. I think he's a guy that you could have literally probably got off the scrap heap on the undrafted free agent market. He's a late 7th undrafted free agent due to his character problems. I mean, we hear all this stuff, Donnie, about Geis and all these other guys. I mean, this is one of the biggest character issue people I've ever seen at this level. I think that was a big time reach. And another one, Donnie, this might be the worst pick I've ever seen in the history of the draft. I've had a love affair at the draft for many years in both football and basketball. This Rick Leonard pick by the Saints, they take Rick Leonard in the 4th round. Rick Leonard, I did not have on my draft board in the 7 rounds as far as really even paying any attention. And in most cases, Donnie, Rick Leonard, the offensive tackle out of Florida State, was ranked in the 400s as far as prospects were concerned. This is a guy that had really zero business on any roster. He's not even barely going to make a practice squad, let alone make a difference. And when you take him in the 4th round and you pass up on guys like Tyrell Crosby, Will Richardson out of NC State, guys like that, and you take him, this might be one of the worst picks I've ever seen. And if I'm a Saints fan, I'd be absolutely sickened you waste a 4th round pick on a guy that might make the practice squad.
Yeah, for me, Jeff Brown's always going to Brown. If we take a look at number 4, not even to say, Jeff, that Denzel Ward's not going to be a good football player in the NFL, but it's where you take him, and that's what we're talking about reaches there. Bradley Chubb still on the board. I think that would have been a much better scenario for the Cleveland Browns. Then we're talking about a little bit later in the 1st round draft, one of our favorite players in college football, San Diego State University's Rashad Penny coming out. He's going to be a good football player in this league, yes, but if you could have got him late 2nd, maybe 3rd round, each team out there, Jeff, we can assume is going to have their own draft board. They're going to make their own decisions out there. But again, we always get back to the poker analysis. When is the right time to go in on a draft? Because it's not how you get the player, it's where you get the player in the draft, Jeff. Final topic we'll talk about today. Based on value, we always like to see the steals of the draft. Now, keep in mind, again, they're not on the field yet, but in our mind, our talent board that you have, Jeff, give me a couple steals of the draft where you think guys that went and slipped in the draft probably going to be some pretty good contributors here in the NFL.
Yeah, I have 2. One of which was Sam Hubbard, a guy I mentioned with the Bengals. I had him in the 1st round, late 1st round. He goes in the 3rd round, 77 to the Bengals. I think he's a guy that, look, is he going to be a pure edge rusher? No, but I think he's a guy that has the ability to be made into that. Needs to get a little bit stronger, but overall, he's came out of a place that is known for defensive ends at Ohio State. I just thought with where I had him graded, I thought that was a really good pick for them. He drops, basically almost 2 rounds, and you get him late. Another guy in the 4th round that I thought was a really nice pick, Ronnie Harrison out of Alabama. I had him in the 2nd round. He goes to a really good Jaguar defense. Why I like this pick is for him and for them. Ronnie Harrison might not be a starter right away, but this is a great defense to go and sit behind some people and learn. Many people compare him to Adrian Wilson, a former Cardinal. He does have a real good physical approach. Needs to get a little bit better in run support and be able to come out of that secondary option. But, like I said, it's all about grading when you look at over or undervalued guys. And both these guys I had in the 2nd round, they go in the 3rd and 4th rounds. I thought good steals for both the Jags and the Bengals.
Yeah, for me, Jeff, going to go with the Arizona Cardinals here at number 10, picking the quarterback Rosen there. I thought overall he should have gone number one. Saquon Barkley, I mean, the most talented player in the draft, number one player on my board technically, but draftability for me, I thought Rosen could have been a great pick for the Cleveland Browns at number one. He goes number 10. And then we're going to take a look at Darius Geis there at number 59. I thought the Eagles should have picked him up, but, some turbulence out there in the waters, so to speak. Who did he fight with in the Eagles locker room or front office when he came in for some visits out there? Some laziness portrayed out there for Darius Geis, but if he gets it together, he should be a really good pick, folks. Thanks for tuning in for all the draft coverage here at sportsbookreview.com. Before you know it, folks, we'll be talking football late August in Las Vegas at the International Betting Football Conference there, the IFBC. Check it out, ifbc.live. Get your tickets now. Head out and meet us there. Everything for NFL throughout the summer, folks. Keep it locked in right here to sportsbookreview.com.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.